Yeah. Listen to that bad fucking unit. All right. Good Sunday afternoon, everybody. It's been a while since the guys done a project update, so I figured I'd, guys out in the shops, plural, because as you've seen, there's a little something out in the barn. We'll get to that in a minute. But check this unit out for those of you that don't follow on the InstaFace. There's the Butch heartbeat. Waiting on a roller rocker for those of you that don't know what those are. These guys, get out of there. Valve train parts, focus, there we go. So one of them was over tightened and it was cracked right about there. So we're waiting on one of those and then we can get that all together. Transmission guy, hopefully, God willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll have, back it up. Oh, can't do that. We'll have said transmission done hopefully in a couple weeks because we got to marry both of those together, get it down in the guts, put the radiator support back on, and basically put the entire, not the entire truck, but put everything together that would quote unquote make it go, make it run. Gonna leave the fenders and the hood off, obviously, so we can, monkey with things. Because to break in the new cam, you got to run her for about 15, 20 minutes at about 15 to 2,000 RPMs, which will be nerve-wracking as all get out. And then once that's done, you're good to go. Change on the oil again, blah, blah, blah. And then a guy can put his fenders on and the hood back on, and then it should be a running and driving truck again, which will be neat. And then the plan with this now, because according to my engine feller that I got all my parts from, because we're doing what we call in the Army a drug deal, is he needs a lean-to put on the back of his shop. So we did some number monkeying, and for the amount of parts that he gave me, race car parts, it evens about out for materials for said lean-to. So according to him, with all the parts that we got, the cam and all this, pistons and all that stuff, because I know enough about engines to be dangerous, she's going to be close to about 400 horsepower, which is going to be really freaking neat. So eventually, I don't know if this summer, because like I said, you guys seen a little teaser out there in the barn, what we got going on. Eventually, what I'd like to do is put, they're called Cal tracks. They're like modern traction bars. Because this thing, short bed, no weight in the ass end, she's just going to burn tires off, which would be fun. But, I want to take it drag racing. Told my training guy that we're going to do a manual valve body. So for those of you that don't know, it's an automatic transmission, but you will have to manually shift it, which would be fun because guys got one of these in here. B&M, I reckon. Yeah, for those who don't follow on the InstaFace. B&M ratcheting shifter, so that'd be fun, banging through gears. Got the fan shroud and all that, Jungle website. Battery. Don't forget that sticker right there. So, yeah, things are coming along pretty cool. Butch just waiting, shocker story of everyone's life. Waiting on parts. But let's go out in the barn and see what a guy's got hiding out there. All right. Check out this bad unit. Yeah, she's rough. So this right here, for those that may or may not know, it's a 1995 Mustang GT. 5-speed, true 5.0, 302. It's the last of the 5.0s. We got 5-spoke Cobra R's on it, 4-wheel discs. According to the feather I got it from, young kid had it out in Rochester, New York. Driving it in the winter. So he took the spank baby's ass rear tires off and put them on the front because, I can't get any traction. Well, it's because he burned all the rear tires off, shocker, because it's posi and it's a stick. Way more fun. So, proceeded to, swat a guardrail. Neat. But, so y'all might be wondering, Jim, what the hell are you doing with it? Because I don't have a title. So basically it's just a running and driving. I mean, I just drove it in here. You've seen the video. It sounds wicked. She's got long tube headers, 2.5-inch exhaust straight out the back door with these neat little tips on there that make her cackle and gargle. We're gonna leave that. Short throw shifter already installed, It's got coilovers on all four corners, been lowered. Ton of engine work done. It's been cammed, different heads, different valve body, allegedly. That kind of looks stock. I don't know if that's aftermarket or not. BBK cold air intake that's been crushed. Guardrail. But allegedly, 300 wheel hearse purse, that's neat. It's got shock tower brace, which probably saved on this not getting more monkeyed up than it is. So here's the plan, because, guy watches a lot of YouTube. Shocker, because y'all are watching YouTube right now. So a lot of you ask, in the comments every once in a while, hey, Jim, what are you doing with the Mustang since, you got Butch and blah, blah, blah. So the plan is, guy's going to go to the Hardmore store and grab fistfuls of Sawzall blades and cut off wheels, possibly a new plasma cutter. And we're going to cut the body off of this. So basically it's going to be a running and driving skateboard. And I've already done some measurements. And I watched the YouTube video. Guy put a 65 coupe, which is exactly what I have, onto a 2010 V6 Mustang. Those are a little bit wider and they're longer. So he had a ton of metal work. But some crude tape measuring, because, guy's a carpenter, so at least I know how to do that part. Inside to inside rocker here is roughly the same exact measurement of my 65. The dash is damn near right on the money, 53 inches. So I won't have to monkey around with my A-pillar whatsoever. It's going to be dope. The only problem that I'm going to have, which is kind of weird, is the Google machine says that the wheelbase on this car is 101. And the wheelbase on the 65 is 108. So according to my, carpenter math, we're about 7 inches in the difference. So, and those of you that don't, may not know, this is a unibody car, and so is the 65. They don't have a frame. There's just little frame rails that are welded where the rear axle is, and some little frame rails that are welded to the floor pans for the engine, transmission, and all that good stuff. So a guy can, in theory, cut across there and widen it. The fun part is where do we do that? So that way when a guy's opening his 65 door and sitting, in front of the steering mechanism, that you don't look like Shaquille O'Neal in the Geo Metro or some crazy shit. So it's going to be a little bit of monkeying, but the money saved, the money is all I can think of. Because my time, I enjoy stuff like this. Cutting car up, that don't take much brains. And, of course, I already have anxiety about cutting the floor pans out of that 65 that I just put in 2 years ago. That's neat. But suspension, brakes, wheels, fuel system, engine, transmission, all the gauges, the dash, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's already here. We just got to make it fit. So, and I know it can be done. I've seen it a ton of times on YouTube. Granted, they were using 67, 68s to make their Eleanor car, which, YouTube, don't monkey with me, or that one bitch out in Hollywood, don't. I'm not building an Eleanor because I can't stand that car. Look that shit up. Fuck Eleanor cars. And fuck that bitch that from Hollywood. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look it up on YouTube. There was a guy, B is for Build, literally had his car taken from him because he had like 12 YouTube videos up and he was calling it the Eleanor build. And just because he used that name, it was copyright, blah, blah, blah. Carroll Shelby's been in litigation with the same production company. It's a joke. It's from Fast and the Furious, obviously. But any rate, I digressing. When they do the 67, 68s, and they put them on a modern car, I've seen guys do them on like a 12 and a 15 GT. The rocker panels were like big, huge, it looked goofy. And then they had to monkey around with suspension to get the car to sit down. So I'm hoping that I don't have that problem here. It's just going to be wheelbase length. Like those wheels right there, those that you might, may not know. Cobra R's, 17s. Those are more than $800. I gave $850 for this car. No title. Like, I didn't even say anything to the kid about the money. I'm like, here, take my money right now. Those are worth $800 new. And these things are in fantastic shape. They just need to be cleaned up. Because I don't know how long it was sitting there, but she was in a scrapyard. And for whatever reason, the owner just, get it out of here. They didn't want to monkey around with parts or whatever. So here it sits, which is pretty neat. So that's the plan. So obviously we're going to get Butch, Butch all tidied up and running and driving, because I got to have that shop room. I might end up monkeying around out here in the barn because obviously I got to cut the floor pans and the firewall and all that stuff out of the 65. And then we got to hang it, it's got to be suspended up in the air to sit down on top of this thing. And then we got to figure out, throw a tape measure around and figure out this wheelbase thing and make sure doors are where they're going to need to be and stuff. It's going to be a neat project, but the cool part is once the body's on here and the guy figures out, because I'm probably going to have to cut this radiator support's junk anyway. That fender support, inner fender structure, she's kind of bent and wadded right here. So that's going to have to get cut. But at any rate, I was probably going to have to cut on that and rebuild on that stuff anyway to support the 65 fenders, hood, that fancy Cobra front end that I got. If you guys have seen that, I'll get video of the Mustang, obviously, when we start doing it. But so that's going to be a challenge as well, making all that fit. But looking at this engine compartment, it's pretty damn close. So we're going to make it work. If you can't tell, I am super excited about it. Just because the money, my time is whatever, I like doing this kind of stuff because it is the 110% polar opposite of carpentry. So that, it sounds friggin' wicked. Allegedly it's supposed to be close to 300 horsepower. That 65 weighs nothing compared to this thing. We're probably going to delete on the back seat. So she's just going to be a two-door coupe. Obviously it's already a two-door coupe, but a two-seater coupe. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, haven't done a project update in a while, and we just picked this girl up yesterday, which was neat. Luckily, I'm trying to figure out how the hell I'm going to drive it up on my buddy's utility trailer, and then just took the old the payloader with the forks and just boop, scooped her up, because I'm like, I'm just cutting the roof off anyway, buds. I don't give a shit. Go ahead, send it. Just don't go underneath, because that's that's the part that a guy wants. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm digging on it. I know some of you guys, might not give a shit, but whatever. But, spare time projects, stuff to get my mind off of all the, all the shit. All that shit. That is going to be, I don't see many 65 Mustangs out on the street, especially what I'm going to have, because it's going to be a driver. I don't even know if I'm going to put the thing in primer. I might just run it the way it is and just have fun with it. So that's the plan. Catch you guys up on the projects and whatnot. You guys, I don't know when I'm going to post this up, probably this afternoon. I'm going to walk around this guy a couple more times. And I got to back her out. Hopefully not get stuck in the snowy yard. And then those are back in here. 65s. Let me get you in here. 65s and buried in here all winter. So once Butch is done, we'll get these two girls next to each other and throw a tape measure around and figure out some stuff and things to try and make her go. So you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Appreciate you, comment, all that. Let's conversate about all sorts of stuff, whatever, like, share, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. And we'll be talking to y'all real soon. See ya.